welcome to The Burnout, the show where we tackle the problems in education one solution at a time. I'm your host, Kendria Johnson, and we look forward to helping you beat the burnout. And welcome to another episode of The Burnout. I am your host, Miss Kendria Johnson. I make good teachers great by bringing them out of burnout back into a balanced life. And on today's show, I have a very special guest. Okay, she's a good friend of mine. She's a doctor, professor. She's a really good listener, you guys. You guys, when you get to know her, when you get to know this lady, you will understand that it's always good to have people that listen to you. And she has been a very gracious and very hospitable friend to me. I mean, I tell you, I'm a lot to put up with, y'all. I'm a full dinner right here. I'm a full 7-course dinner right here. So I'm a lot to put up with. But she has been my friend she's helped me out through a lot of tough times during COVID. She was my go-to person when I was going through it. I'm gonna stop talking about that because I'm gonna start crying. But this is a good friend of mine, and she's going to talk to us today about how we deal with burnout. Welcome, my friend, Miss Dr. Cheantel
Hello.
Adams. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm well.
Excellent.
I'm well. Well is to
Excellent.
be expected. I am alive and breathing. How can I say it? How better can I say that?
You know,
How
some
better can
days
you
are
be?
better than others. Some days are better than others, and
Yeah.
every day we all deserve some grace.
I deserve grace every day on top of days.
And if
Triple
you give
fold,
it to
Lord.
yourself, you can have it.
Triple fold. I need it. So today, Dr. Cheantel Adams, you're going to be Dr. Adams today. Is it okay?
I like Dr. Cheantel.
Dr. Cheantel?
I'm letting go of formalities. So moving over here, I decided I'd like to be Dr. Cheantel because she's nicer than Dr. Adams. They don't want Dr. Adams over here.
I was trying not to give away all of your extra alter egos, but I was like, let's be Dr. Adams today. But she's like, you want to be Dr. Cheantel because it is a very informal conversation. We're just going to chit chat like girlfriends, but we are going to hopefully solve some problems for a few people because that's what this show is about.
But let me tell you why it's Dr. Cheantel here. Mm-hmm. Because when I was Dr. Adams, I was done. I was done.
Wow, tell us about
that. And I realized I can still be who I am. Mm-hmm. I can redesign my life. I can recalibrate my expectations to be satisfied with who I am with not negotiating. So people get Dr. Adams when they meet her, but for my personal satisfaction and well-being, I really enjoy being Dr. Cheantel.
All right, you heard it here first. You got that announcement. All right. So I want you to talk about that. Let's go ahead and expound on that just a little bit. Okay. So I asked all my guests the same question. What do you think is one of the biggest problems in education? Now, if you want to micro niche it and say, what is the biggest problem with teachers? Or what is the biggest problem with students? Or with this biggest problem with the system? Talk about anything you want to talk about, and then let us know what your thoughts are on that.
So here's my philosophy for life. We can live our life in 3 circles. And there are things that we can control, there are things that we can influence, and there are things that are well beyond our control. And a lot of what is happening in education is well beyond our control. Yeah. So if we will focus on the things that we can control, and let me tell you a secret, that is only you. We don't even control our children. So we got to let go of that notion that we can change the world. We're not changing the world. We change how we look at things. We change our personal expectations because they're going to keep asking us for stuff more and more and more and more. And until we realize who we are and what we want and what we're willing to do, we're going to stay burnout. So I'm going to tell you, stay in that small circle of what you can control, and that's you.
Excellent. Now, if you, Dr. Adams, had a school, I want to speak with her. Okay. I want to speak with her. If she had a school, okay, pick whatever grade you want. It could be college, university. Pick a school, and I want you to talk about since we can't control people, tell us about the system you could be able to control in your school. What was your school look like or be like?
People first, right? I teach college courses now where I teach young teachers. And I recognize that one of the most hurtful things I used to say to my teachers was, the children need you. Leave whatever you were dealing with at the door because these kids need you. That's impossible. That is impossible. Yes, the children need us, but before we can show up for them, we have to show up for ourselves. And showing up for ourselves can mean taking some personal time. Showing up for ourselves can mean having a conversation with someone who can really help you get through it or just get it off your chest. But we are people. We are not robots. We are not data. We are people. And so I know a lot of schools take the philosophy, do what's best for children. And I believe that. I don't make decisions in my building, or I didn't make decisions in my building based on adults. We make decisions based on children. But in order for those decisions to take place, we do have to consider the adults. And the adults might not always like what is coming down. They might not always like our decisions. So that's where we build adults. That's where we build the capacity of adults. That's where we get shared expectations. And when you work in a building that doesn't offer you that, maybe you're working in the wrong building. And I've said that to many teachers. I can't believe I have this evaluation. It is so bad. And I would say, you know what? When I was writing those things, because all I did was write what I saw, I thought the same thing. So when you are in a space that no longer serves you, be willing to leave. Either be willing to leave or be willing to grow where you were planted. Because that's the only thing you can really influence. We have more personal power than we know.
That we exercise as well. I was going to say, why do you think that is? Why do you think it's like with the teacher shortages being what they are all over the world, we still are like feel hogtied to, these bad principals, bad campuses, bad students, bad everything. And when I talk to teachers, and I've spoken to a few teachers as clients, and then people that I used to mentor in, when I was doing it for free for the district. And I was like, this is not necessarily the only school in the universe. It's like they can't see past the building that they work in, that they come to every day, because you have a choice to come to that building every day. You really do have a choice. And the wonderful thing about what we do is at the end of the year, you have, seriously, you can make major changes if we so choose.
Because there are so many jobs out there. And in this day and time, they need you more than you need them. There are tons of openings. You don't have to stay. But we have been taught to believe in this false loyalty. We stay loyal to schools and districts that are not loyal to us. And if it doesn't fit, move around.
So it's so simple to people who are looking from the outside in. But when I talk to them, it's like, well, we have these kids and we have these benefits and we have this housing. We have this. Well, then if that's the price you want to pay to be miserable, then you can't complain about it.
And that's the thing. Know your value, know your price. I love teaching. I don't always love my job. So when I'm doing things that have to do with my job, they get me 8 hours a day, 36.5 hours a week. And I can do whatever kind of crazy I have to do. And the reason I do it for those 36 and a half hours is I like my benefits. So that's the cost. That's the price I'm personally willing to pay. If I didn't like what they were giving me, if it wasn't a reciprocal relationship, I wouldn't be in it.
Well, yeah, because when I start back doing these workshops, and I really, really want, my mind and my heart is the universe is taking care of it. But when we start doing these workshops, then it's almost like what we think is very obvious is not to them, to certain people. It's not obvious to people that that you are in charge about how you respond to the world, and how you show up is how the world, kind of it's a mirror. How you show up is what the people are, giving you. So in order to be a doormat, you have to lay down. In order to be, used like a donkey, you have to bend over. And so when I tell people to stop doing that, they're so afraid of what would happen if they stood up for themselves, or they're so afraid of going into that office and saying, hey, you need to tell these parents stop calling me past 7 o'clock. I don't care what happens. don't give out my number or something like that. Because I think I had to tell my people this year, please don't give my number out to those parents without my permission. Stop doing that. You know, things like that, setting those boundaries.
Well, they can call you.
Yeah.
We can't stop them from calling, but you control whether or not you answer.
You were so right, because I don't. I absolutely don't. They're all in archive. But talk about 3 things, if you can. Think of 3 things that help you set very healthy boundaries.
I've thought about this. So the first thing is I have gotten comfortable getting in touch with myself, right?
Yeah.
So I listen to how I feel. I listen to how my body feels. I am okay being still and quiet to listen to what my gut is telling me. And that took some time. And that's a paradigm shift, right? As teachers, as educators, we are taught that we don't do it for the money, do it for the kids. It's all for the kids. But the truth is, if they don't pay me, I'm not going to work. Because this is my job. Let them not pay me. I'm not going. And as long as I appreciate the value that they pay me, I will give good work. But when I feel tired, I go take care of myself, which might mean a massage, which might mean sitting still, which might mean calling a friend to just hang out and take some me time. And I don't feel guilty about it. Whether I have small children or it's just me or this puppy that you might hear barking in the background.
Yeah.
If I don't take care, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if I don't take care of myself, I know I am no good to anyone. And when I take care of myself and when I listen to myself, I realize my value. I realize what I am and am not willing to give to anyone else. I realize what I must give to myself. And with that, I realize my boundaries. And I realize that it's okay for me to have them. It's okay for me to enforce them. And whether or not other people choose to accept it, that's okay too, because I can't control them.
Yeah.
I take control of what I can take control of, and that's myself. And when I do a really, really good job of that, the rest of it just gets like just noise in the background. And there will always be noise in the background. But I know what that does to the inside of me. And I've just made a choice in my life where I'm not going to allow it. We are in an amazing point in history. I think huge paradigm shifts are coming on, are happening. I am so excited to be a part of that. I am excited to be experiencing that. And I am opening myself up to what that feels like, what that looks like in my life. And I am only the master of my own ship. So you spoke earlier about the law of attraction. And I believe the better care I take care of myself, the better things that are coming.
Absolutely. If you don't hear that, that's my audience clapping for you. Saying, Yes. Yes. I love all of it. I love all of it. So I wanna be the perfect client right now. I want to be one of my clients, one of mine. Just take it from me and just say it's one of my clients. I won't give her name, but I'm coming to you and I'm like, I don't like my boss. I don't like my kids, these kids that I teach. I don't like the area by which I teach in, and I don't like anything about it. And I'm depressed and I'm miserable and I'm unhappy. What is your advice to me?
Find something you do like. What do you like? So if we focus on all the things that we don't like, we don't make room to emphasize those things that do and give them room to grow. Because you know what? Life isn't perfect. Don't let anybody who is on this quiet quitting, spiritual journeys, whatever you want to call it, don't let them make you think their lives are perfect, because they're not. They're just learning how to deal with it. They're making plans for tomorrow, but they're taking care of today. And taking care of today might mean staying where you are, growing where you are planted, but also growing your mind in a new way. Letting new passions form, finding a passion that you can dive into where you can just let whatever is happening at work fade away. If you go home and all you think about is all the things that made you mad at work, you're never letting go. You're never releasing. And you don't have room for all of that. So make room for what you want, not for what you have.
Okay, you heard it here first. And that is the purpose of the burnout, because I'm trying to speak to that person that calls me or emails me and tells me those exact same words. I get that a lot. I don't know about you, but I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Before we close, Cheantel, before we close, I want you to first off tell us how to get in touch with you. Just say someone sees this a year from now, because you never know who's going to be in our audience in a year. And they resonate with something you said. They want to reach out to you and they want to get your expertise. They want, and you're going to want to do that. You're going to want, if you need to, get in contact with her and she might have some words of wisdom for you one-on-one. How would they get in contact with you?
My mother blessed me with a very unique name. My name is Cheantel, Cheantel.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so unique that I have Cheantel at Gmail. On Facebook, I am Cheantel. On Instagram, I am Dr. Cheantel. So if you know my name, if you know how to spell my name, you can definitely find me.
And before we go, I had something just jumped into my spirit. I don't want to speak to you about it. And if I have to edit this out, so be it. I don't care. I want to talk about free ways to take care of yourself. And the reason why I say that is because self-care is now being overused to the point where it's like when I'm going to speak on stages, they're like, I want you to speak on self-care. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to talk about that again, because I'm tired of talking about, spas and bubble baths. I really am.
Right. So I am a Libra, and I definitely believe in balance. And medicine is a very powerful thing that we need to take advantage of. Mm-hmm. But additionally, you can take all the medicine, but if your head's not right, if your spirit is uneasy, the medicine still won't help. I know people who take tremendous amounts of pain medicine, and they're still quite unhappy and in so much pain. So I believe in balanced approaches to this thing. Do go see doctors, but also go inward, right? Do the mind work. Do the spirit work. I remember when you and I first started talking, we had conversations about the chakras. Mm-hmm. Take whatever avenue you want, right? It could be Christianity, it could be chakras, it could be positive mindset,
Reiki.
But all of that together really helps you get to your better space, get to your higher space. And who am I to tell you how to get there? I know we even had a conversation when I first moved here and was dealing with all the stress of being here. I had frozen shoulder. And I went to the doctor, I went to physical therapy, and I cussed and I screamed. But then I realized I couldn't fight it. And so when I stopped fighting it, I leaned into it. But I decided the physical therapist wasn't for me. The therapeutic Thai massage was exactly what I needed. And so I went every week and then went to a follow-up. But shortly after that, I started doing my mind work. Shortly after that, I started doing yoga. And so really, I don't think there's any one path. If you go get massages and you still don't feel at ease and peace, it's not just a massage that you need, right? Yep. So listen to your body. And when you don't know, ask a professional. Ask someone who does know, right? That could be going to a coach. That could be someone who, you just like how they're living. You like that vibe they're giving. And you can just say, like, how did you get there? Yeah. And I know, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Somebody who seems to like have all the magic numbers. So like, what is your secret? Yes, exactly.
And there is no secret.
Yeah.
But I will say this, there is a tremendous power in ourselves, but I do not believe we were meant to live this life alone. And so, inshallah, my husband is coming. But aside from a man, we have families. Yes. We have dear friends who come and go. I was having a hard time back in October, and I ended up with this little dog. But this little dog has taken me on another entrepreneurial journey. So if you just trust and listen to those small voices, like life will just take you to the next destination and the next one. But if you fight it, I'm going to do this. You don't let the energy flow, right? And so nothing can be accomplished if you don't let the energy flow. And the energy cannot flow in anger. Energy cannot flow in confusion and frustration. I'm not saying you have to be at perfect peace, but you do have to be a peace seeker.
There you go.
And when we seek that peace, it will come. And you don't have to see the whole path, but maybe just that next step will be lighter. And then the next step will be easier. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with that first step.
Yep.
Take it afraid. Take it taking deep breaths, but take it. And don't allow yourself to just keep sitting in misery. Because we have a right, a privilege to more than that. As teachers,
right.
as women, as human beings. And we have given that power away, and we got to take it back.
Yep. All right. And I was going to ask you for some words of wisdom, but I think that's it, y'all. I think, mic drop. I think that was it. I think that's it. Well, I have enjoyed speaking to you on a professional level today. I appreciate you coming on my show and being a part of the Burnout. That's going to do it for us today. Remember, this show is about helping teachers to revitalize their purpose, reinvigilate their passion, and regain their power. That's going to do it for us. Bye, Dr. Adams. Dr.
Thank you.